Dimitri here, coming with another video. This time I'm starting a new series, I think, or a new playlist, whatever you want to call it. I'm doing this first one as like a live commentary, I guess you would say. But I'll be cutting it out in bits and pieces here, just traveling and stuff like that. But anyway, let's get to it. So what this is gonna be is gonna be a tutorial series because I've been asked, over and over again about how I'm able to, keep my pipper on targets or stay with my opponent, or set them on fire like I do, or just get them like smoking and everything like that, and the angles that I take and everything. So I'm gonna go through everything that I think works well for everyone. Well, works well for me anyway. So first things first, right? We're going to go into the options. Now, you want to set your plane up for success with a loadout. So this is bit 2. I don't want that. So I'm going to go down to the one I usually fly. Bit 1A 100 octane. And we're going to go look at my loadout. So I got a custom loadout. Everything's saved. My convergence is set at 250 yards. I got vertical convergence at 500 for the 2 outside guns, and then 400 all the way in. And as you can see, I've got a mix of incendiary and armor piercing, and of course observer rounds, so I can see, exactly where my bullets are striking when I'm shooting at an opponent. But all of this will come in later. I mean, it's pretty easy to set this thing up. You get a default loadout here, and what you want to do is you want to just remove the default loadout and start putting in what you want. I used to run with ball 303-inch cordite Mark 7s, and then armor piercing and incendiary, but then I just changed it up to like an armor piercing and a bunch of incendiaries, like you see right here on my weapon 1, and then pretty much the same thing across the board. Like get them incendiaries in, get that armor piercing in, the incendiary set it on fire, and they start burning. Too easy. And I used to run at 150 for my convergence, but I pushed it out just a little bit so I can reach out and touch people, especially when I'm coming at different angles and such. So that's that. You want to make sure you got a good setup for your guns, because if you're running with default, you're gonna hit them, but it's not gonna work out too good. But we'll get more into that later. All right. Right now, what I want to talk about is the first thing that seems like would be a good idea once you start playing a game, especially this one, is just getting into like danger dogs and just flying around and learning what your Spitfire can do, or your Hurricane can do, or your 109 can do. And for some reason my plane disappeared, so I'm gonna have to find a new one. There we go, got a new one. Alright, but just figuring out what you can do. First things first, you gotta figure out how to start this thing up. Now if you're brand new to the game, it's probably best to go on the ATAG server. Stay away from stuff, get on the ATAG's TeamSpeak, talk to people, figure out how to do it, or just figure it out on your own. Like, there's plenty of YouTube videos out there that can tell you how to start this thing up, and it's not really all that complicated. There's a lot of processes that you can go through to do it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's about 3 simple steps, right? And I'm gonna go through what my 3 simple steps are. So first things first, I always turn on first, without a doubt, never fails. If I miss anything else, it doesn't matter. But if I miss this, I'm gonna get off the ground, I'm gonna blow my rads, and that's gonna be it. So I take it, I turn on my radiator. Now I have everything: my propeller pitch, my radiator, my gun sight, all that stuff is all on my joystick or on my keyboard. That way I know exactly where it is. That way if I'm in a fight, I don't have to look around. I ain't got to worry about where my fingers are going. I know exactly where I'm putting it. So first things first, turn on that radiator. Doesn't even matter. Magnetos, doesn't even matter if you turn them on, because when you flip your fuel cock and you press your engine on, after you get a little bit of throttle, them magnetos automatically turn on. So now you're just sitting here warming up. Everything's ready to go. Well, pretty much. Turn on your gun sight. Now what I like to do is I like to decrease my gun sight to my my actual convergence distance, which changes the opening right there. Closer it gets wider, further it gets smaller, and then it all depends on, you know, the size of your target. But hey, whatever, that works. A lot of people don't do it, but I tend to enjoy doing it. So I always take off with a full tank gas, because I don't know how long I'm gonna be up there, and you know, sometimes going all the way to France, coming all the way back, is just a big headache. So that's what I tend to try to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll out of here and probably talk through a takeoff. Now the most important thing is to know what your Spitfire is going to do, or your Hurricane, or your 109, or whatever. I mainly fly Spitfires or Hurricanes. I fly red side. But you got to know what it's going to do, because if it pops in and surprises you, you know, you're going to end up on the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and roll up to the runway. Not even going to take off from the runway, honestly. I'm going to go ahead and turn my boost cutout on. What my temperature's like. I can probably start rolling. I'm going to go ahead and kick her in the ass. See, it's going to pull to the left just a little bit. Little corrections. Little corrections, and now I'm not really on the stick at all until I feel the tail lift up like so. Now see, I had a crosswind there, which almost caused me to topple over, but it worked out alright. Little adjustments, small adjustments. The more you pull it, the more it's going to adjust for you, and you can end up over adjusting. So I'm going to go ahead and drop my propeller pitch down to 80% here, because you don't want to run it all 100. Now it'll run 80, 110, 100 rads just perfectly fine. It might get a little hot here in a little while, but max it'll get is like 115, which is close to the max of the temperature you want your water radiator to be, but it's not gonna hurt anything. And the more you climb, the more it doesn't matter, the more you can drop your radiator and everything. But that's for a different video. This one's all about knowing what your plane can do in the air, because you don't want to get in a dogfight and be pulling so hard on the stick that, you know, you're overshooting your guy, you're missing your guy, or you're just causing yourself to stall out. So what I like to do is I like to sometimes just come in danger dogs and fly around. Literally fly around. That's all I like to do. Do crazy stuff. Stuff that I know, you know, might not work, but sometimes it does, and then I'm alright with it. So that's what I think the best thing to do is just get in there and start just fooling around with your rudder and just hard turns and seeing how far you can actually push this thing, seeing what your limits are, seeing how much you can pull before you start to black out. Now we all know this Spitty is not fuel injected, so once you give it some negative G, that engine is going to cut out on you. You want to keep away from that. So, but seeing how much you can pull on it before you're stalling, and then what you actually have to do to recover. Because I've been in a lot of fights where, let's say I'm going this fast and I'm behind the guy, and he starts to pull up, and he's pulling up so hard that I'm trying to pull lead on him, and the more I pull, the more I know I'm not going to be able to do that. But I practice so much that I know at a certain point my plane's not going to want to do it anymore, and what he's trying to do is get me to do exactly what just happened there and just fall out. That way he can dive in right behind me. So these are things you got to know. You got to know how much you can do it, how much you can push this plane to get yourself into the advantage against your opponent. Now we all know the 109s can climb better, but there's tricks. There's tricks to cutting their corners. There's tricks to getting in front of them. So the next couple of videos are going to be about those tricks. Not even those tricks. They're not tricks. It's just practice and just tips that I think would work out. You know, I mean, everyone wants to get caught up in the dogfighting, and they miss the basic fundamentals of just flying. If you can't start your plane and you can't fly your plane, you're not going to be able to, you know, properly dogfight anyone. You got to be comfortable in that plane. So, I mean, if I wasn't comfortable in this plane, I wouldn't do this, and hopefully I don't mess this shit up. Nope, sure didn't. Whew, that was a little bit scary. I was right at the deck, and I was just like pulling up real hard and giving it a hard right rudder and just flipping it. And that's a trick to get that 109 to go zoom right past you. You're not gonna have the E to get on him, but he's gonna go past you, and you can probably, you know, get away from there, or, you know, turn the fight some other kind of way just to get him off your 6. But that's all I got for right now. I just wanted to get this one up. Get up there, get in danger dogs or an A tag. Just go away from the fight somewhere, and if you're having difficulties just controlling your aircraft, just fly around. Just that's really all I can tell you. Fly around, find out how high you can climb before your engine doesn't want to climb anymore when you're climbing hard. Find out how steep you can dive before your wings fall off. When your wings fall off, well, not your wings, but like your ailerons or your rudder or something gets jammed, keep flying it, because there's going to be a certain point where you're going to have to fly it. So that's all for me right now. I'll talk to you later.